Well, step into my storybook cottage, if you will. But before you come inside, I promise I will give you the source for those, again, so many people have asked, and I will give you the source again. Now, it is high noon.
It is bright.
And it is bright and it is hot outside as you step into the cool of the air conditioning. Come in, Stuart. Come in, all of you followers, into my cottage. And Stuart, this is where we have to explain that if we were in charge of continuity, like on movies, there's a person that's in charge of continuity, and they would be appalled at the fact that it's, number one, it is, like I say, it's high noon, and I've got candles lit, and I've got things set as if it's evening time, but I wanted to do that intentionally, not out of affectation, but because I want you to see the potential charm that this cottage holds for entertaining at various times of day, but specifically in the evening. So if you were coming and knocking on my door, and by the way, Stuart, it's right here that I want to insert the picture of the vision I have for the front door, because it remains not touched and I do want to make some modifications on it. That's my first question of the day. I have a whole bunch of them for you, and let me know what you think. And by the way, it will remain in black. It will not be blue like the image that we're going to show you. So, welcome to the parlor. Now, I can't remember, Stuart, what it looked like the last time that
I know, right? I don't fully remember what we showed
that I
last
kind
year.
of gave people a tour, or maybe I gave them a tour of just portions of it. But it has evolved, and nothing is ever finished, but I would call it almost finished. And I want to talk a little bit about the things that made the cut, that the selection committee decided needed to stay in the parlor or in the front room. What I have found is because the light is absolutely so incredible in here that we're really drawn in the morning and at certain times of day, definitely to this room. And I would say of all of the furniture in my home, you know what probably gets the most use? These two chairs, or at least when I have guests. Because imagine, if you will, that you came to my door and we needed to have a short meeting, or we needed to visit, or you were upset about something, or I was upset about something, and we just needed a cup of tea and a little chat, maybe a peach Bellini, then typically we would sit at this table. It's especially yummy in the wintertime when all of the south sun comes through these incredible diamond windows, which was probably one of the major selling points of the cottage for me. I absolutely love them, and I just love this little spot here. It was a vignette that I kind of created almost as soon as we moved in, and I love it. And it is where I sometimes am looking at my phone when I have to do work on my phone, or when I am planning something for the day in the morning with a cup of coffee. This spot gets lots of use. Now, I want to give a shout out on a couple of different things. This beautiful flower arrangement is compliments of, what is the grocery store again? Uptown Grocery Store. I believe it was put together by a young woman at the store on May Avenue, and she composed this, and look at this, you guys. Look at this chapeau. Look at this hat.
I saw this when I came in.
Is this not incredible? Really, I needed it in time for the Kentucky Derby or the coronation. But both of these were put together by a talented florist at Uptown Market in celebration and in recognition of the Gatewood Garden Tour, which was yesterday here in Oklahoma City. They had a tremendous turnout. I was the keynote speaker, and it was so fun. And thanks. If any of you attended, please make sure to comment below, and thank you so much for your neighborhood support. And a special shout out to my friend Patricia, who put this all together and really shows up for her neighborhood, for her community, and for the gardening public. And I so appreciate that. Okay, so a few more things. Most of this furniture I had before we came to the cottage. It was at the other house. But let me tell you which few pieces were not. So a lot of you have asked about my settee. And yes, when something looks like this, it very much is a settee. And it's extremely comfortable.
All right, what's a settee?
A settee is just a small sofa.
Okay, there we go. I need
A love seat. But when it looks like this and it's got these tufted details on it, I think it deserves to be called a settee. This was a splurge for me with the approval of John Turman, my friend who helped me with some of the decorating details, decorating decisions, particularly the more substantial ones, the ones that I consider to be investment pieces. He and I decided that this settee from our house was just perfect, and I loved it. It took a while to get here, but I think very much it was worth the wait. The other, I'm trying to think if there's really any other new pieces in here. For the most part, Stuart, there are not. Most of my floor lamps I had at the other house, and I just have updated them with some new linen shades. Is that a little fly there? Yes. With some new linen shades. This one I will provide a link to, and we're going to try to put together a whole list of sourcing information for things that I use to decorate the cottage. If, as I always do, I forget a specific link or a source, or I don't know what it is, or it's something that was handed down to me, then just shoot me a comment and I will let you know. And by all means, always comment, you guys, because your information has been so valuable to this community. I cannot tell you, and especially recently to me. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome to the cottage. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, blah, 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 hit the like button, and share with anybody who you think might like this content.
How long have those Terra hydrangeas?
Okay, these Terra hydrangeas, are these not incredible?
I think I've run into them about 50 times.
You have, but the thing is that they have such integrity when they dry, because these came from the Terra hydrangea that was planted at my other house. That, by the way, I did bring with me, and I'm going to do a Southern Living Plant Collection roundup probably later this week, and I'm going to let you know how they all perform. But this is a Terra hydrangea, and yes, I did schlep these over from the other house to here, and now they're in a location. Stuart, have you noticed that you can't bump into them?
I won't bump into them here, and I have found pieces of this in my pockets when I got home before.
Well, I can't help it. I like them, and it's a great inexpensive way to
really
bring
cool.
flowers and things into your home, and I love their russet color, which I think resonates with the color palette that I have here at the cottage.
That color is just so insane.
Yeah, don't you love the complexity of this? So we will definitely show some in their fresh live form outside. But for right now, just enjoy them in their dried state. Something else that I brought from the other house, but that I changed. My brother-in-law, my husband's brother, was a naturalist, and he had a fabulous butterfly collection, and it was very near and dear to us. And I had these reset and reframed by Frame Masters in Edmond, and I think they did a marvelous job.
They did a good job, yeah.
They really did a good job, and I love them because they mean something to me. As I said, he was kind of a scientist slash naturalist, and those were part of his legacy, and I love that. The chest is one that I had. I updated it with some new pulls, at least on the bottom, and this is just a wonderful little storage unit for me. So I can put some things in here. I can keep whatever I want. I can keep candles, entertaining things, cocktail napkins as such in here, and then I have just a few. You guys know that I'm trying trying to get into, or I am getting into blue and white a little bit more, but not as an obsession. I just want very curated pieces that I find that may be old, that may be new, that might be expensive, that might be inexpensive, and that will kind of infuse this space with a little more brightness, because blue is bright to me, and a lot of my other spaces in the past did not have it. Some of the other things, okay, I have to point these out because these are new acquisitions.
Oh, yeah.
I got these, and I will, maybe in the community tab or in another video, I will put up some of the stills that I took at a wonderful little shop in Alexandria called Manse, M-A-N-S-E. And these were some of the things. You guys know I am a taper candle kind of girl. And this candle snifter, I bought one for myself, and I also bought a set for a dear friend of mine, because I just love the fact that they are good looking, that they're simple, but they also speak of that colonial aesthetic that I like so much. And then these, Stuart, you may wonder what these are. Well, this is, I don't know if I'm tall enough to get that right now, but this is a wick snipper.
Here, show them what it looks like on
Yeah.
the end here. Put your hand behind it so we can focus here.
Okay.
Put it in front of my hand. There we go.
And that snips your wick. And it's a wick snipper. And the reason that that's important is because, like here, when your wicks get a little bit too long, then they get smoky, and they can be a little bit more of a fire hazard. So I'm going to snuff both of those. But I do love them because they are next door to these fabulous, they're either Globemaster or Gladiator alliums. Now, believe it or not, I had these at my other house. And they had really started to take hold there, but then I moved. So I'm going to have to replant a lot of them this fall from my favorite bulb source color blends. But aren't these spectacular? So where did I get them, you ask? Well, believe it or not, I got them at Trader Joe's. I know this is not a Trader Joe's ad, but I found them at Trader Joe's. They were $4.99 a stem, but well worth it. And I anticipate that they will also dry, so I'll get even more longevity out of them. So I just loved them. And then I have just married them with a couple leaves from a philodendron that I have as a house plant. So I love it. And then this vase, which you have seen before, was a thrifted find.
With the smoky glass, yeah.
Yeah, so you know, like I say, style need not be expensive. Some sources of some other things, and again, this isn't, it's just because I want to point out these things because I think they're beautiful, but I know you'll ask, where did I get them? And I love these needleworked pillows, and I got these off of eBay. They were Pottery Barn shams, and I just got the coordinating feather filler for them that I got online. But I just love these. I've got a couple of them, and they're good, and they're squishy, which I like and Hubs likes. And then just a couple of other appointments. Now, one thing that I did, and this was a question I had for you earlier, do you sometimes switch out your accessories seasonally? And yes, I do. And these, I love these pillow shams, and I got these at Mockingbird Manor. You guys know that's one of my favorite places to shop in Oklahoma City. I got these at Mockingbird Manor, and they just give kind of a summery feel. I think the blue and white gives it kind of a summery vibe. And prior to that, I had some velvet pillows, which I will use once it starts getting cool again. But I really like this whole kind of montage that I've got going. Now, I would be remiss if I did not point out this fabulous bulb, because
Such a cool
Stuart,
thing.
you remember that when a very, very large trunk was felled off of my, well, it's not mine anymore, but a beloved oak tree in the front yard at the Fairy Tale House. I then was so fortunate to have an artisan who made this bowl for me. And what an incredible job he did. So
It's
that is
really
truly,
well done, yeah.
truly a treasure. You may notice that the olive tree that I have in the corner is one that I overwinter every year in a friend's greenhouse. It's in a faux concrete pot, which I think we did a video on that, Stuart. We need to put a link to that. A video on how to transform a lightweight plastic pot into faux concrete. And this is, actually it's one of the sweet olives that I had in the greenhouse. Now what I do, because all of these plants really want to be outside, I have four actually. I have 4 different olive trees, and I just kind of rotate them in and out so that they get adequate sun, and one is always looking its best without dropping a lot of leaves everywhere. And this gets south sun, so actually it gets pretty good exposure, and I'm happy about that. And then this basket I got at a thrift store in small town Oklahoma, and it was, I think, $10. And I saw one almost identical to it in an antique store for considerably more. Yes, I love it. You guys know that I brought my artwork with me. This used to hang in the dining room, and now it hangs in the parlor. I used to have, if you rewind back in time, I used to have 2 black metal lamps that had red shades on them that kind of picked up the overtones in those peaches. But because I wanted something a little bit lighter and brighter and more massive, I got a blue, white, and brass lamp, and I bought this online, and I will provide the link. It was not prohibitively expensive. And then I just really kind of matched it with some of the other blue and white pieces I have. Now, Stuart,
I noticed the other day.
you noticed the other day that
I was sitting over here and I looked this way. This time of year, I like to have a blue bowl here with peaches in it that just, well, I just love that echo of what is a still life brought to life. Well, yeah, out of the corner of my eye, it looked like the painting had spilled off of the painting on the table. And
I love
really
that.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. This is also a thrift store find. It was a plant stand. If you look closely, you can kind of see that it's a plant stand, but I turned it upside down because I wanted to nestle
What a neat little weave to make that little center.
one of these seagrass baskets in. And I kind of love the way they look, and I love the way that the continuity of this seagrass matches not only the aura of this room, but also this time of year, my hats and bags and things that I have on my hat and coat rack that is here and gives kind of a vertical element. There was great talk about this closet, and I went for practicality on that. I still have some shelves that need to be hung in there, and I will do that, but not today. And then something that I love little things that are accessories and jewelry for the interior of my home. And this little hat rack, I think, or coat rack, very much is a fun little accessory, and I will definitely, if I can find it, will try to provide this link.
Yeah, because I need one of those.
You need one of these too, and I love the way that it echoes the other brass appointments that I have not only in the room, but that I have in the kitchen and in other areas. Now, I believe I have shown, this may be one of the best-selling items that I have ever recommended. I personally have bought 4 of them. These little campaign tables. I got these online, and I think they're like, I can't even remember, about $70 to $80, something like that. This one was gold, and I did put a black patina on it because I wanted to age it a little bit. And I just love how practical they are, and I love their good looks. I love the footed feet that they have. And I like that this hint of brass that comes through plays off of the other brass accessories and small things that I have in this room, including And this my husband loves. Actually, both my Jamies, both my young Jamie and my big Jamie, love this just little cocktail table, because this space is really too crowded to have any kind of larger furniture item to hold your cocktail, your whatever. This is just perfect. It's large enough to hold a book, a cup of tea, any kind of beverage. And again, I like the fact that it resonates and is consonant with the other things in this room. So over here, I've showed you this before. This, gosh, this has had so many different lives, this piece of furniture. I got it at an antique store, I believe. I can't even really remember. Many years ago, it used to be in my office at the other house. It held my printer. For a while, I had it holding jewelry and things in my closet until I thought, oh, this would really look good out here. And I like the way this heavy metal work looks with the metal of the campaign table. And it was just the perfect size for this location. So this is just, I think of this as a very utilitarian but beautiful space. So if I am entertaining, so for example today, if you were really here, I would have those peach bellinis probably staged right here. And as you came in, I would give you one. And of course, no vignette would be complete for me without a topiary. This, you guys, was one of the $4 topiaries that I found at Walmart. And I repotted it, and I've been giving it some love. And the nice thing is, all I have to do in the mornings, if it wants to be outside, is I just put it out on the front porch for a little while, and then I can bring it back in. I love the formality that it gives to this room. I love that it's a signature statement of mine, and I just love the way that it looks right here. I so loved this tray.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I love this tray. And in fact, I've ordered another one, and now I think I'm going to order another one because my kiddos have just bought a house. Actually, they've just moved in. I know a place that I think this would look brilliant. So I think I'm going to order another one of these. And if it comes in round, maybe in the round form. But I love it. And then the other thing, this was definitely my nod to beautiful utility. And what I have found, I thought it would be just me that used this mirror primarily, because Stuart and I are always shooting. I'm always checking my cowlick and checking to see if I look sweaty or anything like that in the mirror. But what I have found is so many other people have been using it. So when they come in, it's real windy. They stand here. They kind of comb their hair. It's really been wonderful. Even the guys. And you know, I'm a big hat person. So if I'm wanting to position my hat correctly at just the right angle, just the right jaunty angle on my head, I can do that. And then I had this out.
Hey, it gets hot.
This was a favor that was at the wedding in Virginia, and I loved that. I love the way it looks. So this is very practical. I wanted a beautiful mirror here, but that wasn't too overwhelming and too large. And I also thought that I wanted it to be something that was rather transitional. I didn't want to hang one here in the event that I wanted to morph this corner in a different way. So I just got this size so I could lean it up against the wall, and it does just what I want it to do. And it also reflects the outdoors, and it also reflects my beautiful diamond windows. So I like that, and it creates even more light in here than I had before. And then it felt like I wasn't getting enough verticality to match the verticality on the other side of the entry. So I hung this thrifted find that I got on one of our sojourns.
Oh yeah.
That we videoed, and I love this, and I love the fact that it's coloring and it's brass. It's nod to brass metallic frame, kind of, again, communicates with the rest of the room, I think, in kind of a beautiful way. So Stuart, what do you say we take a little break here? So I don't forget to blow out all of my candles, I'm going to snuff this last candle in this room, and then how about we move on to the kitchen? Okay, Stuart, before we get all sorts of comments on, for goodness sake, Linda, why do you have a nasty fly swatter?
Oh, let's check it out.
On top of this great rattan tray. It's because I just put it together. It is brand new. And pretend like it's not a fly swatter, because doesn't it look just brilliant there? But what I love about it, talk about elevating the ordinary, romancing the ordinary. I had just like you guys do, just a nasty old plastic and wire fly swatter that I had hanging in a convenient location, but it was just ugly. And I just didn't like it. So even something as practical as a fly swatter can be beautiful. And I saw this, I got it at Shop Good, which is just a local store. I believe it was either Urbane or Shop Good. And I just loved it. Now, yes, was it a little bit more expensive than the $1.99 version you could get anywhere? Yes, but the fact is, in a small space, what you have, even if it is strictly functional, I think can be beautiful. And I love this. I love it. It's one of my favorite things, a fly swatter.
Somebody out there is thinking
Is
the
one
same
of my
thing I am.
favorite things. Yes,
What's it gonna
a
look like
leather fly swatter.
after a few swats?
So, well, what I'll do is I will sterilize after each swat, or I will wipe it down after each swat. And you know what? That's okay. It will get.
It is beautiful.
It will get some fly patina on it.
Hey, there you.
It will get some fly patina
whole
on
new
it.
patina.
Yes, and I can squirt it with a little bit of alcohol or something. It wasn't that expensive.
Hey,
So
who knows? Maybe it'll get just infinitely more beautiful.
infinitely
every
more
swat.
beautiful. Yes, yes. But I do really love it. And you know what? What a great housewarming gift this would
it is,
make.
yeah.
If you were going to
It's
go
cool.
stay with somebody for the summer at their lake house or something, I think it's beautiful. You could even give it, as a
It does
gift.
look good on the basket.
It does look good on the basket. So the basket, by the way, I just got recently at Walmart, and I'll see if I can find a link. I think it was only about $24, but it's great for entertaining. It's great for when I want to carry things indoors and out to the social patio or whatever. And I do love it. Now, if you were here and I was offering you a Bellini, I would not pour it over melted ice. But I have ice in these glasses because this was a great trick that I saw when I was, sitting at a bar in Alexandria, Virginia. And that is, we had ordered, Hubs had ordered a martini, and I had ordered, I can't remember what I had ordered, maybe, I can't remember. But they set out our glasses before us. And while we were looking at the menu and things like that, they filled to the very brim, as these once were. They filled our glasses. I think I had a Cosmopolitan and he had a martini. And they filled our martini glasses with ice all the way to the brim. And they sat there and they chilled themselves so that by the time they made the martini and the Cosmopolitan, the glasses were perfectly cold. Feel this, Stuart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
See
good.
how cold it is? Yeah. And I think that is such a classy touch. Plus, I think it looks kind of beautiful. So then, obviously, I would also have my pink Prosecco Rosé Bellini. I would have this chilled for you also. This came from Trader Joe's. It was very expensive. I love, love, love this color. I love the way it looks. Along.
Did you say it was very expensive?
Did I say expensive?
I think you said expensive and
inexpensive.
There you go. I think that was probably.
You guys know what I mean. Very expensive is typically not in my vocabulary, in my wheelhouse. But I love the way it looks with some of my table linen. So it's fun to be inspired by something as decadent as a bottle of champagne or a bottle of Bellini to go along and be the muse for whatever table linens you choose. So I then also like the fact that shortly after we bought the house, I found these marble coasters because I am trying to protect my honed marble surface. And Stuart, we're going to do a future video on caring for honed marble and some things that I have found to help with etching and staining, and we will do a whole video on that, or at least a short video on that for the future. But I like these because they just harmonize beautifully with the tabletop. And then everybody who comes here, Stuart, you, my team, people, they know that they always sit on the counter, so then they just take them to whatever location they need. And I think that's just a fun appointment. And then another signature touch that I have shared very, very extensively is that on the corner of my island, I always like to have some kind of massive flower arrangement. In this case, it is peonies, and these are from?
I'm going to guess it's Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's. Though last week I did buy some from a pop-up florist, and they're beautiful. Peonies don't grow well in most gardens in Oklahoma, but these are beautiful, and I couldn't resist them. And they have been here for, 5 days, and they're still lasting, and I just periodically change out the water and recut the stems, but I think they're beautiful, and I've had this container for a very, very long time, and because I don't want it to stain the countertop, I have it sitting on
Marble coaster.
Yes, a marble.
Does it spin?
It does not, well, it can. But it's kind of a marble trivet, if you will, or plant, which I also got at a thrift store. So I'm always looking for those kinds of things that are beautiful and practical. I can use it in a myriad of ways. And then because I'm also trying to protect my countertops, I got this bamboo cutting board. I can keep it right here by the refrigerator. It's very, very handy. I like it because it can capture drippings. I can put things out here to defrost or whatever.
And too.
Yeah, and it's very large, it's lightweight, and it's easy to clean. And I like the way it looks.
Little section for something on the side there too.
Yeah. And I got, this is also something that I got. You just push it down. I showed this before, I think in one of my favorite products. You just put some dish soap in the bottom, push it like that, and then I can scrub things out that your hubs have dropped in the sink after dining. Now, one thing, not all is always happy in the cottage on the hill. And one thing that has become very apparent to me, it was apparent to me before we bought the house, but is increasingly apparent to me right now. And that is, this is a one-tush kitchen, or a one-butt kitchen.
The width.
Yeah, especially if you are married to a big guy, and my husband is a big guy. And so when we're both in here trying to navigate this space, it can be problematic. Now, one thing that I am, and please, if you've got some comments, put them below. I love the way you guys come up with ideas to make my life easier. So one thing that I have started doing, a lot of times when I have found that he is in my way, is in the evening, he has a cocktail almost every night, don't judge him, but he makes his G&T almost every night, and frequently that's when I'm making dinner, so then he'll come in here and he will want to get ice out of the freezer, and he'll want to get stuff out of the refrigerator, and he'll want to graze a little bit. And I won't lie, it's really irritating to me. So I'm starting to think about things that I can do to get him out of this space, and not only him, but really anyone else, if I'm going to be cooking or whatever, that will get us out of this very congested corner. So a couple things that I have done is I now have a second cutting board, so I can have a second cutting board that can be used over here, or it can be used over here if there's two cooks in the kitchen, or on any corner of the island. The other thing that I've started to do is I'm trying to be, I've never been accused of being a 50s housewife, but in this respect, maybe it's because I've been watching too much Mad Men reruns. But I thought, you know what I need to do is late in the afternoon, when I'm typically having my afternoon cup of tea, I need to just go ahead and fill the ice bucket up with ice, set out his stuff, set out his limes, spoil him rotten.
There you go.
And then he can come over here or to the bar in the great room to make his cocktail, and he's kind of not in my way. And I think that's true of pretty much all beverages. So now I'm going to be thinking about that if I have guests, get them out of this zone and into other areas of the cottage that are every bit as amenable to that. So for example, over here, don't you love this? This is a salvaged wine bottle. You guys know how I like to salvage wine bottles. So I could make some of my jasmine tea or whatever. I can have it in here. I can have ice in the ice bucket, glasses at the ready. So when someone comes in and I want to offer them some iced tea or whatever, I have this all set up over here. And again, nobody is in this crucial congested zone. This table I bought online, and I love its clean lines and its practicality, especially because I can put things underneath it. So this may look like a seagrass basket to you, but in its other life, it is where I temporarily hold my recycled things that need to go to the recycling bin outside. So this is where cardboard, old mail, wine bottles, Stewart's, whenever Stuart comes, he
I
typically
did a good job
has,
of trying to hide that this
time. Yeah, he typically has a cold drink, and I can put it in here, and then later in the evening or in the morning I can empty it out. And then I have a couple of different stepping stools that I find ever so necessary. This is one of them, and I have another.
I like the little storage space under there.
Yeah, I do. There's a little storage space under here.
That's really cool.
I just love it. Maybe that's where my fly swatter will live. Ooh. So, and I love the way the blue picks up the blue in this oil painting. This lamp I got from Mockingbird Manor. The stools I got from Grandin Road. They took a long time to get here, but they are brilliant. And these I think will really get a lot of use when my kiddos are here and we're all cooking in the kitchen. And people are sitting here visiting, and whoever is cooking is over here chopping, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's really fun. It took me a while to style these little cubbies in here, because I just kept trying to force something on them. I kept trying to force all the language of this white porcelain or the kind of more masculine vibe of some of these heftier pottery pieces, because I thought the two just didn't work together. And then I thought, oh, for goodness sake, quit being so fastidious. It's perfectly fine. And you can do both. So I have some of my cookbooks that I use frequently set out here. And then over here in this corner, I have some other pieces that I use, maybe with less regularity. And I love the way my Christian Dior china perfectly matches the green in this wonderful print that I got online. I think I got that on eBay. I love that. So lastly, in the kitchen, Stuart, is there anything else I have forgotten? Oh, let me show you this, and then I'll show you a couple of other things, because I know you're going to ask. I have done a big feng shui in here. Stuart, do you remember the last time you looked at this?
I think
and it
so,
was
yeah.
absolute chaos, and there were cords and things just everywhere. Well, I now give you the reveal of my TV in here.
Looking good.
And I have to say, it's considerably improved because of a streamlined power cord product that I got that I will show you a little bit later. I think we need to do a kind of a product video. I know some people love them, some people hate them, but again, I'm all about making our lives easier, and this definitely has made my life easier. And also in here, I have a secondary ice bucket in case I want to carry that out to the social patio, and then more of the cookbooks that I use pretty frequently. And then this is hung here, and I can pull it out and I can torque it if I want to watch while I am cooking, or if we want to watch something while we're dining at the table in the banquette. So I really do like that, and I think it's really fun. And then when we're not watching it, because I really don't like the look of TVs, I can just hide it away, and no one will know the better. And then over here, there was a great. And if you want to go back, if you haven't watched any of these, and if you don't know the history, as important as it is, of the Cottage, then you can go back and watch. We've got a whole playlist on the Cottage, and from when we moved in and its evolution over time. But there was quite, I don't know, hoopla over where to put my beverage cart, my coffee cart. I got this at Mockingbird Manor in Stuart. It was just like $80 or something. And I do love it. It has lived in different locations in the kitchen, and now it pretty much permanently resides here. So I can either put a large coffee pot, or when we're not having guests, I can just have a single Keurig here with my mugs. I got these online and I love them. Several people have asked about them, so we'll try to provide a source. And then down here, I can just hide in here in these seagrass baskets. I can hide all of my coffee, what are those called?
K-cups.
K-cups, and my tea bags and things. But this is also kind of brilliant. In this other basket, look what I have hidden.
All the cables.
All the cables. I've got my modem. I've got a speaker in there, but it can all come through that seagrass basket. And then they kind of are all hidden because I have my seagrass placemats here at the ready that I can then just set the table with. So
cool.
It's all about easy living, not necessarily expensive. And this is a new acquisition that I just love because I found this corner to be a little bit dark because I didn't want an art light over that, and there's not a plethora of outlets over here. So I decided that, especially in the evenings, I needed a light source here. So I got this brass lamp online. Don't you like it?
The base or whatever you call that.
Yeah. I just love how sleek it is. And it looks good. And in the morning, when you're not fully awake and you don't want to turn on any lights that are just too much, then I can turn these on. Now, one other thing that I wanted to show you before we leave the kitchen. And by the way, a lot of you have asked about these massive cutting boards that I got. These were the gift from my realtor when we bought the house, but I have seen them in a number of other places. You can buy them online, but I love the way they look, as I love the way my little pepper plants look here, which is one of the advantages of growing your peppers in pots, and certainly production has not been sacrificed by container gardening. And these were in the back, and will be in the future, and what I anticipate when the back gets finished as my pepper theater, where I will have a plant stand filled with all sorts of peppers. So I love that, but in the short term, I think they look great in the kitchen.
They do.
Don't they look kind of fun? Okay, but this is truly is the last thing I wanted to point out to you, because the reason that you're seeing this show on a Monday versus another day of the week is because we lost our power yesterday. Night before last, a huge thunderstorm came through, and we lost our power pretty early in the evening, and it was out until I think 2:30 yesterday afternoon. Was yesterday Sunday? Yesterday afternoon. So because of that, we really couldn't shoot. It got dark in here. It was pretty warm too because the air conditioner wasn't working. But something that did work that were just brilliant and lifesavers were these motion activated under counter lights that I have told you about before. And consequently, I thought, okay, I'm going to get more of them for other areas in the house that we need access to when the power goes out, as it frequently does in these old houses and with the severe ice storms that we get here. So I am going to get more of these. Did you see how that just came on?
Yep.
And I'm not wasting electricity because they're not always on. So these have been brilliant, as have these little battery operated lamps, which may be second only to the little campaign tables for the things you guys ask for the link to most. And I have 4 or 5 of these. I love them. They're touch on, touch off, and they are rechargeable. So these were also great when we had a power outage. So I think if I have not absolutely just bored you to tears, that is a little rundown of the parlor and the kitchen. I think we will save, Stuart, what do you think? Should we save some other locations for another day?
I mean, yeah, we could do that.
Okay, we'll save another location for another day. And a lot of you will probably ask about my ensemble. So my outfit of the day is something that I thrifted, and some of you might recognize it because I got it for the Singaporean wedding last year. And I wore it there, and I wear it now with these coolie pants because they're just lightweight and comfortable.
Love the color.
Because it is hot as the dickens out. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this tour of the parlor and the kitchen, and we'll visit the other spaces a little bit later.